All right, cool. Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Catching Feelings, and I am out here with Mpho. How you doing, Mpho?
I'm good in you.
I'm fresh.
I'm fresh.
How's your day been?
Started off very badly, but it's okay now.
Is it?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So, for people who do not know you or want to get to know you, can you give us a brief overview on who Mpho is and all that jazz?
Oh wow. Okay.
Yes.
Don't even know where to start. So
Okay. First, name and surname.
yeah.
Maybe. Okay, let me get you a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, fine. Name and surname. What is it that you do? And then maybe just how would you summarize yourself?
Okay. So Mpho Mofokeng,
Okay.
born and bred in Foslo.
All right.
I'm 43 years old.
Oh, damn. Okay. Out there putting in the age. Okay, cool.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
there's nothing to hide there.
All right, cool. And I always ask this because I know like a lot of women, they've got a very big problem with revealing their age. I don't know what it is. Maybe you can tell me later on, but cool. I'm glad that you mentioned it so that we're not guessing and stuff like that. Okay,
Yeah, no,
cool.
I feel good about my age.
Oh, okay.
I feel like for my age, I look good.
Okay.
So I'm not embarrassed to say how old I am.
All right.
It becomes embarrassing when you look older than what you actually are.
That is true.
So
That is true. Okay, cool.
I don't have that problem.
All right.
I'm sort of in between jobs at the moment.
Okay.
So I'm literally serving my notice period at my current job as a mortgage loan originator. So basically a bond originator is what
Oh,
people
okay.
are used to.
So you deal with people who are like who are looking for loans?
Yes.
So for mortgage.
Yeah, so an estate agent will find a house for you. Now
Okay.
you need financing. That's where I come in and put your application together and submit it to the banks to get an approval for you.
Oh,
So
snap.
that's what I've been doing for the past 3 years. On the 1st of March, I started a new job.
Oh, snap. Okay.
at-
Congrats. Yeah,
Thank
no,
you
these
very
people are
much,
just still
at
struggling out here.
Northwest University. So I'm relocating as well.
Okay.
So I'm going to be living in Porch from
Okay.
the 1st of March.
Yeah.
And yeah, essentially that's me in a nutshell. I've got 2 kids.
Okay.
A huge gap between the 2 kids. One
Yes.
is 22, one is 10.
Okay. That's going to be interesting to get into as well. All right, cool. And then in terms of personality wise, how would you describe Mpho? How would you pretty much, let's say if you had to do like an elevator pitch about who you are.
Okay, so with me, it depends on the crowd, basically. So
Okay.
if I'm with people that know me and have known me for years,
Yeah.
this bubbly, open, talk to anyone type of person.
Okay.
But if I come to a place where I know absolutely no one, it takes time for me to read the room and see who's open and who's not. So I'm not going to be that girl that's out there, again, the extrovert, making friends
Okay.
all the time. But I am not opposed to if you click with someone, you have those people that you in a room full of strangers, but the one person you connect to, you don't know them from a bar of soap,
Yeah.
and then you start having a conversation. I'm that type of person.
Oh, I see.
So it all depends. And once I get used to you, then
Is it? So would you consider yourself a reserved person or a more open? Like when you get to a new space where you don't know anyone, are you more likely to get to know everybody, or is it a case of people have to approach you? Do you speak when spoken to?
no. Chances are when I leave the place, I will probably know 90% of the people.
Wow, okay.
So I don't wait for people to approach me. I'm the type that will, let's say it's a buffet type setup. So while we're in the queue getting food or whatever, I strike up conversations with people,
Okay.
random people. So I don't have to know you. Yeah, I'm the
Okay.
type of girl that will be in a supermarket having a conversation with the people behind me or in front of me. And then you'd think we've known each other forever.
Nah, I know those kind of people. All right, cool. And then, so are you in a relationship currently?
Currently, yes. I am
Okay.
in a relationship.
How long you guys been together?
Not long. We met last year in June.
June. So that means
So that would be
okay, cool.
6-7 months.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
So obviously was it an easy transition? Like how do you guys meet? How did you guys get together? Do you want to
So
divulge that
funny
information?
story.
Yes. Tell us. Inform us. Like how do
Funny
we find
story.
partners
So
these days?
I've known this person forever.
Okay, what is forever?
Since we went to Sunday school together. That's forever.
Okay.
So you must know I was probably 6, 7 at that stage. So we were friends back then. And then he relocated, I relocated, life went on and whatever, and we bumped into each other last year. And then we sort of just hit it off, and So it's someone that you've known forever, and you meet up after years, and it's almost as if time stopped, because it's like you carry on as if I've known you. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Okay, no, it makes sense.
So there's no awkward, what do I say now or whatever. It's in my head. It's like that way that I knew in Sunday school. So
Thomas, so like, what do you think was different now in you guys getting together now compared to maybe back then? Do you think it would have worked if you guys had maybe made it official back then, or like, what do you think would have been the
chances are it wouldn't have?
Okay.
I think we've all grown in a way. So from experiences that we've had, I mean, I've had my good experience, my bad experiences in relationships, and that I think has made me grow. So there's certain things now that I'm more open to that I probably wouldn't have been.
Really?
Yeah.
Example?
So, like for example, I was that girl that if you go out, I want to know where you are, when you're coming home.
Really? You're one of those?
Yeah, I was one of those.
Oh my gosh.
But I'm at a stage in my life where it's like, as long as you're safe, all I need to know is I'm still here with the guys. I'm safe. That's all I need to know.
Okay.
I don't need to know what time you coming home, those kind of dynamics. But I also don't want someone to commit a time to me. So the minute you say 10 o'clock, I'll stop you right there and say, don't.
Oh, I mean for you?
Yeah. No, for you. Like if you're going out.
Yeah.
Chances are 10 o'clock is going to come and it's going to go because you're chilling, you're having fun. You're not sitting looking at your watch every 5 seconds.
Yes.
So you might wake up and it's 11 o'clock and it's like, oh shit, I said I'd be home at 10. And I don't want to now sit and worry, because if you said you're going to be home at 10, now I'm thinking, are you on the road? Did something happen? Those kind of. So it's not a question of you said you were going to be here. I'm thinking, okay, you probably left where you were and you're on the road, but you're not here yet. So I don't know. Are you still okay? Those type of. So it's better if someone doesn't tell you, I'm coming home. I'll be back. Cool, you'll be back.
Yeah.
Don't tell me what time.
So like, what do you think made that change? Because you said like you're not like this before, but like what made you now kind of be more?
So I've been through 2 divorces.
Okay.
At my very young age.
Access 2 divorces. That is quite a lot.
So with my first husband.
Yeah.
I think.
So quickly, how long were you together with your first husband?
Oh, we were probably together 10, 11 years.
Decade.
Yeah.
My gosh. All right, cool. And then your second one was for how long?
15 years.
15 years.
Yes.
Oh.
So I've never had a short marriage.
My goodness. Yeah, no, you really are that girl. Okay, cool. Sorry.
The Begazela is high up in here.
Yeah.
But anyway, so with him, I think he wasn't ready to get married when we got married, because we married young. I was 23, he was 25. He was 2 years older.
Are we talking about the first or the second?
First one.
Okay, cool.
So I was 23 when we got married. He was 25. So I think mentally he wasn't ready to. He wanted the life of I have a wife, but he didn't want to live the life of I have a wife.
Yeah.
Meaning that he still felt that he could go and party hard and
I mean 25 is a pretty
the same things that he was doing before he got married.
Yeah.
He was expecting that, and at that stage I was still that girl. Now you must also remember I grew up in a very strict family.
Okay.
I was raised
Household.
by my grandmother and my grandfather. So I had a curfew up until the day I moved out of the house, and I only moved out of the house when I got married.
Okay.
So so coming from that environment where you're not used to going out to vibe, and so you don't understand the dynamics of now you're chilling with the guys and time runs away from you, because I grew up with a curfew. So if I'm supposed to be home by 10, I make sure I'm home by 10. So I thought that's how everybody.
Oh yeah, of course, of course.
So, and that didn't happen. And then, so it was frustrating, because now you're sitting at home, you can't sleep because the other person, but he's out there having the time of his life. So in the end, you're frustrated and you start getting into arguments because of things like that.
Like frustration and stuff.
So then you learn to sort of distance yourself, not in a bad way, but in to protect your heart, because
Is
remember,
is that within the marriage?
within the marriage.
Okay.
So now I'm like, I need to, so that I'm not sitting having sleepless nights while people are having fun. I need to find a way to disconnect in a way.
Okay.
Not in disconnecting with him, but don't overthink that he's not here. He'll eventually come back. So you stop doing things like that. And then, but that has also a negative, because it has a ripple effect. Because you can't disconnect from one thing and still be connected to another.
Right.
It doesn't matter how much you want to. So you end up disconnecting completely.
Okay.
So it becomes a case of you're back, you're not back, makes no difference in my life. You come back at 10, you don't come back at 10, makes no difference in my life. And that wasn't a healthy relationship anymore.
Quickly, like, I always find it weird when girls say that, because they say that usually in relationships, the moment the woman stops caring in that regard, then it's like she's halfway through the door.
It's true.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
so
I just want to make sure.
It's
Okay,
true.
Yes.
So you check out before you leave. Let me speak for myself. I'm not going to speak for women in general.
Yeah.
But I check out before I leave. So I will be in a relationship with you for the next 2 years, but I've literally checked out. But also in that time that I've checked out, I'm hoping that I'm still there, because I'm hoping that there'll be a change. You know, so you're not checked out that you're not working on it at all, but you can see this is a dead horse already. I'm flogging a dead horse. So when you eventually walk away, it's not that painful. I know it's sad to say this, and it's probably harsh to say it.
Yeah, it sounds
but
very
it's not
bad.
painful because for you it's a shock.
Yeah.
Why are you leaving? For me, I left 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I was here. I was doing my wifely duties, but I was no longer here. When I stopped calling to find out what time you're going to be home, or are you okay, or how was your day, you know, those type of small things, then you know it's gone.
It's over. Then.
So I always tell people, the partners that I've had in my life will probably think I'm crazy, but I always tell them, when I stop asking you questions or I stop questioning you, you must know, you must start getting worried.
I think it's a good note for guys also to kind of note that when they start noticing these kind of withdrawals from their partners, there's something that
is wrong.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So that is the my first marriage. Also the reason why that didn't work out wasn't so much because of I think if it was just that on its own, probably would have found a way to make it work. But there was also financial issues, because man wakes up one day, decides, I'm fed up with my job, I'm resigning.
Just 2 seconds.
Okay. So
yeah, you're still talking about
my first rodeo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So I think if it was just the case of him not being ready to be married and those, then we probably would have found I think at some point he would have outgrown it, and we would have found a way to make it work.
Yeah.
But now to add insult to injury, at some point he's like, I'm sick and tired of this job that I'm doing. I'm not happy. I'm resigning. I'm like, okay, I understand.
Like no conversation, no like, what do you think? It's like he's done.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, but now why don't you look for something else first and then you can resign?
Yes.
Needless to say, when we're having this conversation, he doesn't tell me he's already resigned.
Oh, snap.
Okay, so cool. So a month goes by, man is now at home. I'm like, okay, so panicking. You should. Did you think this through? Whatever.
Yes.
So then we had a period where we now going into a one-income household, because now things are hard. We've got a daughter. I think Karabo was 5 at that stage.
And how old are you by that time?
Probably 28.
Okay.
It was into our second, third year of marriage.
Okay.
So we now. Okay, so then he decides he's going to be a estate agent. So now when someone decides he's going to do this, you must remember, to be an estate agent, you need to be driving people around and all of that. So you need cash.
For the viewings and stuff, yeah.
now I become the cash cow. So now before I go to work, I must, okay, now I've got so many trips, I must do this and that. So now you must be giving petrol. And then in between all of this, he's still doing the coming home late at night. And at some point I was like, excuse my friend, but fuck this shit. I'm financing your lifestyle that is abusing me. So I think I've had it up to here and that's it. And that's when I checked out, and that was the end of that relationship. I was single for about 2 years after that. Because I honestly feel like...
So you're single as in like officially divorced or separated at this point?
Officially divorced.
Oh, snap, okay. So you're like an ex-wife now.
I'm an ex-wife now. So then then I'm on my own for 2 years, and then I meet Jack, who became my second husband.
Okay.
So that also was a good relationship in the beginning, beautiful. I'm not going to deny that. And it was long distance. And what worked for us was we saw each other every other week. So when you see someone we spoke obviously every day on the phone and things like that, but you connect so much more because I'm only seeing you for a weekend. So you have that quality time and whatever.
Yeah, like just to expand on that moment, yeah.
And then I relocated to the Northwest because he was living in the Northwest in 2013. At that stage, I think we were together for 3-4 years.
Not married, or you married?
No, not married.
Not married. Okay, cool.
Look,
by the way, so when you relocated, did you relocate for him, or was it because there was opportunity that time?
There was an opportunity that wanted to start a business. So that was the idea behind it. But then I thought the best place to do it was there because I saw the gap in the market.
I see.
At
Okay,
that
cool.
Stage.
Yeah.
So we go there, start a business. Everything works out beautifully.
Yeah.
And then he gets retrenched.
Okay.
And now I'm back in that situation of now you're having to be carrying a man again which wasn't a problem because...
So like history's repeating itself now.
History's repeating itself.
Yeah, okay, cool.
But the difference here is now he's not the coming home at night type. So he's still the responsible husband type.
Yeah.
Okay, so they get their severances and whatever. I think that was in 2014.
Okay.
2014, 2015.
You know, so like every time I'm thinking about like retrenchment, I'm thinking of COVID time. So when you say
no, that was before
like,
COVID.
Okay,
that was before COVID.
Yeah.
So then we
pandemic.
So then we did the whole lobola thing and whatnot after that.
Yeah.
So then we essentially married. Now we are a married couple. Life carries on. He's unemployed for a good 2-3 years. And then he gets... Oh, wait. When he gets his money, the retrenchment packages and whatever, my husband changed like this overnight.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
So now you've got friends galore because everybody knows you've got money now.
Yeah.
Now the things that we do together, like we would, if I was invited to a wedding, we went together. If he was invited somewhere, we went together. Now all of a sudden it's like, no, there's no women. I'm like, can't be telling me you're going to your friend's, he's throwing his 1-year-old son a party and there's no women. Where's the mother of this child?
The mother and her friends maybe as well.
Know? I'm like, you know what? It's okay. I can see where this is going. I don't want to make it. But now I'm already seeing the red flags and I'm already starting to, but I'm still telling you, listen, I'm not happy with this. And so... we carry on, and money finishes, friends disappear.
As always.
Back to the normal good husband again. And then he gets a job. So now I've been carrying the family for a good 3 years. So now he gets a job and I'm thinking relief. Okay, now I don't have to do this on my own anymore. Because when he was working before he was retrenched, we were doing things together.
Yes.
No. He figured, well, if you can do this alone for 3 years, you might as well carry on. So now I have a husband who's working, who now has a new rule here, 50-50. So now we're living 50-50. So if we go grocery shopping and the till says 3,500, I must pop out half, he must pop out for every single thing. And I was like, I don't understand, okay? Because now you have this concept in your mind that... we must do things 50-50 because we're both working. I'm happy with that. but let's extend that now into the house. So because now we're in a 50-50, I'm working, you working. So when we're both home, let's help each other out. No, that's a woman's job. I said, no, it doesn't work like that. So it cannot be a woman's job when it's convenient for you. And then it's no longer a woman's job when it's not convenient for you. So I said to him, now let me tell you what's a woman's job. A woman's job is to take care of the home. A man's job is to provide.
To provide, yeah.
So I'm
Traditional.
going to stop providing because you want to go traditional.
Yes,
Like, so
yes.
let's go all the way traditional.
Yeah.
I'm going to stop providing
Yeah.
and I will do my part and you can carry your providing. And that caused endless problems in our marriage. When COVID hit, I was in such a bad space in my marriage. Lucky, you know, sometimes I feel like God knows where you need to be at what point in time. It's like that week I was like, I'm just going home for a week. I cannot, I just need space. Boom. COVID hit. I can't go back.
Oh, snap. Okay.
So then we thought it was going to be a month. And then after that it was extended. So for the longest period of time I was at home, which was not initially planned that way, but it just happened that way.
It's God's timing, right?
Yeah, it's God's timing. So I was where I needed to be at that stage to heal. So COVID, things open up again. We talk, we fix things. I go back home. And things are perfect for a while. And then this thing starts to rear its ugly head again of now he's becoming he was never physically abusive, but emotionally abusive. You know when someone tells you every day how fat you are, and somebody tells you every day
they're just pinpointing all the bad
all
things
the
about
bad
you.
things. So he broke my self-esteem down so much that I didn't see anything good about myself. I was at a point where he would say something. It got so bad that every time I got home from work, I would call home because I was living with my daughter and his brother at that stage. So I'd call one of them and ask them, now you ask, what's the weather looking like at home?
Yeah.
Because now I want to know, I need to prepare myself mentally. Is he in a good mood? Is he in a bad mood? Because if he's in a good mood, then all is well. If he's in a bad mood, then I need to be mentally ready for this. And then it came to a point where I couldn't do it anymore. The roller coaster was too much. I lost weight. I looked like I was literally sick.
Yeah.
The day I moved, we stopped at a garage on our way home, my brother and I got literally physically sick that I couldn't drive anymore.
While you're at the garage?
While we're at the garage that we had.
And that time you're going where? Are you going?
I'm coming back home. Because I had decided, I was like, I'm leaving everything. I literally just took my clothes and I left.
Oh, snap, okay.
Left everything that I worked for all my life there. And I came home. That was in August last year. It was a year.
2023.
Yeah, in 2023 it was a year, so I left in 2022.
Okay.
So, in that time we tried talking and whatnot, but it still, to me, it felt very fake.
All right.
It's where you want to have a conversation with a person about, okay, so we separated. Let's deal with the fact that we separated.
So you're not divorced officially, you're just like separated at this point.
At that point. Yeah. So we separated, but we have a son together. So let's talk about how we're going to do this. But every time I bring up the topic of I need help financially for our son, no, let's talk about me and you first. I said, no, there's nothing to talk about concerning me and you. Let's fix this situation of the child first and then we can go back to that. So when I saw that is not happening, in my mind it was like, if he cannot do this for his son, if he cannot swallow his pride for his son, I'm not even blood related to him. So
it was almost like there was a contingency of him helping his son. It was almost like I will only step up if we get back together type of conversation.
Yeah, so
okay, cool.
It's I know I'm gonna sound very horrible now, but he has a very narcissistic personality. He has that of he will do something wrong and he will find a way to change it so that you feel like you've done something wrong.
Isn't that like gaslighting as well?
I have no idea. But
I mean, like, there's all these big words being used nowadays.
Yeah.
It was like,
it's there where I found myself apologizing. Men would come home at 7 o'clock in the morning and I'm here apologizing.
You're the one who's apologizing. Yeah. Okay, cool.
I was home all night, but I'm the one now that's apologizing. I found myself in situations like that so often that I thought, it's almost as if I don't know who I am anymore. This is how he's now robbed me of my self-esteem and everything. And then I came back home. So come home, you start over, basically. So I always coin myself the queen of comebacks because
I mean, considering like
after the first one, you start from scratch. After the second one, here you are again.
Yeah. So now you're picking up the pieces now.
Yeah. So essentially, I feel like it's difficult now to be in a relationship now.
Actually, like, let's talk about that. Like, what would you say is difficult now compared to before? Just in terms of your positioning, because what happens now is that now it's like, obviously you're much older, you've got kids, so like you're a full package at this point.
Yes.
So, I mean, how do you maneuver that within today's time where like now there's younger people, there's younger girls, there's younger women who probably, they don't come with as much baggage as you. They're not ex-wives. They probably don't even have a kid, if maybe at all, maybe one.
Yeah.
So then how do you maneuver that whole situation or that environment?
That comes with maturity.
Okay.
I know where I fit in.
Yeah.
So I'm not in clubs and things like that, for example. I'm not that. I've never been, the fact that I grew up in such a strict home, I've never been that girl that's at the club or whatever. I'll go out every now and then if my brother say we're going to this place, let's go and chill. But that's literally it. So I know my audience. So I know that the people that I'm probably gonna meet with or end up in a relationship with will also have baggage.
Oh, okay.
So the chances are, if they have never been married, they will have kids.
Yeah.
Or, but they'll also come with their baggage. The danger in that is you've got scars that are still healing, that you thought were healed. You only figure out that they haven't healed once you introduce someone else again into your life, because then you find yourself doing things to prevent.
Oh, yeah.
So now you, the new guy,
Yes.
are now carrying skeletons from the old
Oh,
guys.
okay, yeah.
So, which is not fair.
So you're
but
fighting with ghosts,
unfortunately
basically.
it
It's like you're fighting with ghosts of the past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now I find myself in a situation where if someone starts with it can be the most innocent thing ever. You did forget to phone and say, listen, I said I was coming, I'm running late. And in my mind, I have 100 different scenarios already going on, and I lose my shit very quickly.
Wow, okay.
But I think that's also a blessing, the fact that I lose my shit very quickly and I tell you, it doesn't work for me. How you operating doesn't work for me. Because then you know where you stand.
Okay.
You know that next time she is going to throw her toys out of the cot if I do this.
Okay.
So, but it is difficult. And then I find myself in the same situation because he also comes from baggage and whatever. So now I do the smallest little thing and it's like, you know what? So now you have to learn to first find a common ground and also learn to compromise, because you can't now come and say, you cannot do this. This is a full-grown man or a full-grown woman. I cannot tell you what you can and what you cannot do. But I can tell you what I do not like, and how we work around that is going to determine if this is going to work or not. So it becomes difficult when you in a relationship and someone has been so traumatized by a specific action that they feel like this is a deal breaker for me. If you do this, it's over.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is nothing. Why am I now being expected to act in a certain way just because your ex fucked up in the past?
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's okay. It's a podcast. It's not the
You know,
content.
so why am I carrying? But then I also need to acknowledge that in as much as I don't want to carry, he's probably also carrying skeletons from my past.
That's true, though. So then, like, what is your love language?
Me, it's acts of kindness.
Acts of service.
Acts of service and physical touch.
So I would assume that's 1 and 2 in terms of hierarchy. So it's acts of service and then physical touch. Okay, cool. And then have you ever found out about your partner's love language? Or there's something that you pick up? Or
There's something that I pick up.
okay.
So physical touch, I've picked up, is one of them.
Okay.
But now the other one becomes difficult. Becomes difficult because I think he's been through so much trauma in his heart that he doesn't want to let anyone in.
Oh, wow.
So it becomes difficult to now read because he's got walls up Friends, family, he's got walls up all around him. I thought I had walls, but listen, these ones are
Yeah, they're big.
They're big, and it's not something that you're gonna get overnight, unfortunately.
Yeah, because you guys, I mean, already in what, like 7 months, right?
Yeah.
7, 8 months, right?
Yeah.
So it's, and I'm assuming because it might take way longer with this one compared with before, because now it's almost like before it was easier to kind of maybe date a couple of months, then see potential of getting married. But now because of the baggage, the higher walls and all that stuff, so it might take a bit longer. But then now, like, what would you say is your ideal partner or ideal man? Because I'm assuming you've kind of maybe at some point sat down and listened and said, like, this is the kind of man I want. Or maybe like a better question to ask you is that how do you think you built your whole perception of a relationship? Do you see it with your grandparents? Do you see, like, where do you get that ideology formed from? Because obviously there's this whole notion that, I mean, like with girls or with women, like their male figures usually are the ones who kind of create that ideal idea of how to interact with the opposite sex, right? And with the boys, it's the mother.
Yeah.
So, and maybe sometimes if you grow up in a 2-parent household, how they engage with each other kind of gives you an idea of how a relationship's supposed to be. If not, whatever you see, like beyond that.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm trying to, so that maybe like that's the question to find out, like for you, where do you think you got your whole concept of how a man's supposed to act in a relationship, how a woman's supposed to act in a relationship, how is a relationship supposed to be structured?
So I got my ideologies from my grandparents, because I literally was raised by my grandparents. Yes. They were married for 65 years when my grandfather passed.
Wow.
So they were together better part of their lives.
Yeah.
And my grandmother, up until the day my grandfather passed away, had never gone to a shop to go do shopping. He was the provider in the house. And he wasn't just the provider. She would write down what she needed from the shops, and he would go and do it. So his wife was always number one. She came first. And that's where I got the ideology that a man is supposed to, your wife comes first.
Yes.
Everything else is secondary. So now it becomes difficult because not everyone thinks
of
like
course.
That.
Yeah.
You know, so, and also we're not in remember my grandmother, she worked a bit, goody kitchening and all that, but most of the time she was home. So even when she worked, it was probably 2 days in a week or whatever. And on the days that she worked, she was probably there until like 12 o'clock midday, and then she's home. So she could still do the traditional wife role you get home, you cook, you clean. When your husband comes home, everything is ready, you know. For us, it's difficult because now you're working a 9 to 5, you come home. But because I grew up around that, I found myself doing that. It's a subconscious thing. I mean, automatic. I'd come home at 6 o'clock, and on my way home, I'm already thinking, what am I going to cook today? You know, I'm not expecting the man to do that. Because I grew up in a house where the man wasn't doing that. But there were days where my grandmother was sick and couldn't do that, and my grandfather would cook. So he wasn't the type that would say, I'm a man, I don't cook. If there were times where my grandmother couldn't, then he would do it. So that's the ideal that I think I built in my head. The ideal where a man should at least be able to know how to do the basics. You can't come up to me and say, I can't cook. I'm not expecting you to cook.
Is that a deal breaker for you?
No, look, I'm not expecting you to be a chef.
Okay.
I'm not expecting you to cook every day.
Yes.
But I'm expecting, if touch wood, anything happens, and I am in a space where I cannot cook, we cannot live on takeaways. You must at least be able to, okay, Kenza Papa, you know, make a plan, you know, put 2 and 2 together. And also in my head, I'm like, we are so evolved that guys have been to college, they've been to varsity, or who was cooking for you then?
Yeah.
So, and I think a lot of this, I can't cook, is an excuse not to do it.
Of being lazy, right?
Yeah. Because I'm sure there's even YouTube, so you can
no, that's true.
Most of the stuff you can find
on social media. Like,
do you understand?
Got
so
cooking pages.
I think I need a partner who is, even if he's not able, but he must be willing. At least try.
I think that's important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you don't always have to do it. I need someone that's going to be like, you know what, you look like you're exhausted today. Let me help you out with this.
That's
It's
acts of
not
service,
your job, you know, that's acts of service. It's not your job to do it. But the fact that you offered, you know, means so much. You come home and the dishes are washed and you're like, oh, wow, you know, it's as if you knew that I'm exhausted and I'm still thinking I need to do this. That's all I need. I'm not about the money because I know the money fades.
Yeah.
And I know I've been a provider for the longest time. So for me, it's not about the money. For me, it's the small little things that you do that show. You do not even have to spend a cent to show someone that you love them.
I mean, like hearing your story, like what you're saying makes sense because, I mean, like you said, I mean, you've been a provider before, so it makes sense where it's not the highest of on your list, but no, but that's interesting though because I feel like everything you're saying makes sense. But now, because obviously, like you spoke about how, you know, you learned from your grandparents, which that time is different compared to now.
It's very different.
So, what has been the biggest transition from how things were done then and how things are now, in terms of like now even just maneuvering just the market, considering that okay, fine. Now there's conversations like 50-50 now, which back then there wasn't.
Yeah.
Now there's social media now. So now you're competing with a situation where, like, because now you remember, like, you used to be confined with one space.
Yes.
Like, you would only get exposed to the people who are around you. But now with technology, people are talking to people
all over.
Yeah. People are flirting. People are doing all kind of stuff. So now how are you carrying yourself within this new age way of dating?
So that one's difficult. Hey, it's very difficult.
Yeah.
But I think it comes with the experience, and it also comes with being open-minded. So I'm the eldest in my family.
Yeah.
And I have brothers.
Yeah.
I only have brothers. I don't have sisters.
Okay.
So that's also helped me in a way because I can relate more to guys than I do with girls.
Oh, I see.
Also, I don't have aunts. I've only got uncles. So I've grown up in families that are very male dominated. So from my mom's side of the family, I've only got uncles. From my dad's side of the family, I've got one aunt and the rest is uncles. So it's always been a lot of males around me. So I've gotten to see how different males act around women. So you can see where this person is not doing right by their wife, or this person is doing right, but the wife is not doing right by this man. So you grow up seeing those dynamics, and then you start building your own ideas in your head. And then the advantage of having brothers that are younger than me is now I see how they're navigating now in this day and age.
Yeah.
So when you're now being thrust into singlehood, you already have an idea because now you see how because things were very different. Like we never dated. There was never I'm introducing a girl to my mom, or I'm introducing my boyfriend to my mom.
Oh, okay. So and also like normally also like La Rochelle is still there, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And like now there's none of that.
Now it's like people start having a conversation and then they out and then it's like
you don't even know when do you guys become official?
We don't even know. You don't even know when. Yeah.
When you became official.
I was saying that the other day actually because this actually happened because we met, we were chatting, and all of a sudden we're dating. I'm like, when did we actually start?
Right? And then like how do you even know your anniversary?
Yeah, no, I don't even know. So I know we met somewhere around June. Okay. But when it actually started, I can't tell you. But so that's how I learn how to navigate, because I see now how things are done with social media and whatever. And with the jobs that I've done previously in the past, I've had a job where I worked almost like a caretaker.
Okay.
So I was working in a complex where you have people, tenants and whatnot. So you have old people, young people and whatnot. So you end up becoming like a mother to all of these people. Because if they have problems, now this one is fighting, so they report to you. These people are making noise in that unit, so now you must go and you must sit them down. Why are you fighting? You disturb it. So it in a
like HR.
So you were going in there to get people to stop talking, but now you see what the situation is, you end up becoming a counselor. So now you're sitting so that this does now repeat itself.
Yeah.
So with all of that, you start to see how different relationships are and how the idea that you have isn't necessarily going to happen. And then you realize, okay, at some point I need to compromise. I'm never going to find my grandfather. That idea, that man.
Yeah.
He doesn't exist anymore. Or if he does, he hasn't been born yet.
No, it's quite.
But so
that factory's closed.
So then you need to, you do still find gentlemen. I'm not gonna lie. You do still find guys that are in this day and age of 50-50 and whatever. They will still get out of the car and open a door for a lady. Do you understand?
And it's funny you say that because I posted this clip about how nowadays like chivalry is dead, because nowadays you can't do that whole flowers, opening doors, and all that stuff, because now like girls, they don't take it serious for doing such things anymore, because it's not the same as back then, because now it's just almost like an anomaly where a guy does that and it's really genuine, and because of how much option women have in the dating market because of social media and all that stuff, it's almost like you can do that stuff and it just seems, off for some reason. I don't know if maybe you may agree, or maybe it's just because
it
of the times.
And I hear completely where you're coming from. But that beautiful things like that get ruined by small pockets of people.
Okay.
So you get the guys that will use the flowers and use the money and use the acts of service and whatever just to get what they want and they move on.
True.
So when you do it, I'm already asking myself, okay, so what do you want?
Right.
It's not because you now don't believe in that concept anymore, but it's probably because that specific woman has had that done to them so many times that they you build up your guard. I'm also one of those people where it's like when you do something, I'm like, what do you want?
It's like when it's too much.
What do you want?
Yeah.
When not necessarily when you do something, but when someone starts complimenting me, I know now you must tell me. Because remember, I come from a relationship where every little, now you've got pimples, now you've gained weight. So all the bad was being emphasized, and it was only when he wanted something that, you look beautiful today, then I know.
Yeah, I know. You're just waiting for the penny to drop.
I'm waiting for the penny to drop. He's gonna tell me it's gonna happen, and then it does.
Yeah.
So when someone else does that, so it's a habit that you have to get yourself out of. So unfortunately for you guys, it means if you really like that specific girl, you keep doing it so that they realize that I'm not doing it because I want something. It is what it is, and they will know it. So the danger of it is once you people start taking you like a creep, you stop doing it. And then it emphasizes that message in her head, she nabatla something else.
Yeah.
So why us stupid?
Because I mean, like even the girls themselves, they're like, there's no, like they throw words like there's no real man anymore. There's like guys don't buy flowers anymore. Guys don't open doors, and then we're like, but then if you look at the evolution that has changed, most of it has like, I don't know if you'll agree with me with this, but within the evolution of between the two genders, would you agree or would you disagree that the gender that has changed the most is women?
Yes.
Right? So with women being more empowered, with women being more independent, with women being more in the workforce, now they've kind of elevated to where they don't really need men to a certain degree. So now men are finding themselves where now they're like, where do we stand now? Like, what is our purpose? Because now it's almost like we can't even play the provider role or that, because now what happens is that more women are getting hired with affirmative action. So now even a woman will get more of a job opportunity than a guy.
Yes.
So now the economic scale is also
Skewed.
like changing, because the guys who used to be providers are the ones who are getting retrenched.
Yes.
And then the women are the ones who are getting hired. And they're the ones who are getting paid more money than guys. And yet in the dating market, women still expect the whole traditional aspect of it, where you as a man are supposed to provide, protect, and do all that stuff. But economically, it's not really viable as well. And at the same time, you find a situation where, I don't know if it happened for you, that like in a lot of cases, when a woman finds herself in the provider position, the masculine position, she can do that for a short period of time, but long term, like she can't do it. Because there's this notion of when women are in power, they become very awful people. you guys become very awful people because now you down. You look down on your person because obviously like you expect him to kind of like rise up, which is why they say when a woman makes a certain amount of money, it's either on the one somebody's either on their level or above.
Yeah, which is true to a certain extent. That happened with me, but with me it wasn't so much that I became a monster. Okay. It was I couldn't continue feeding your ego because now I haven't done anything yet to show you that I'm above you.
Oh, okay, yes.
But you already have that
idea.
Inferiority complex in your head that I cannot provide. This woman is providing. She's doing this. She's doing. So obviously at some point she's going to start. So you start. But now you cannot. You come to a point where I cannot keep babying you and saying, look, it's not going to happen. I mean, I went as far as if we went grocery shopping, I would transfer my salary into his account.
Okay.
So that when we get to the shops, he's the one swiping. Because I don't want to emasculate him.
Yes.
Don't want to be there at the till saying, oh, don't worry, I'll pay for it. So because I'm trying to, but you get to a point where you're like, you know what, I've done everything that I can. I cannot keep trying to protect your manhood. If you feel like you're not man enough, there's nothing I can do for you. So then women become nasty because remember, in public, a man will give off this impression that this woman is nasty and whatever. In private, they become the nasty ones. So they turn you into the monster that you see in public.
That's interesting.
A man will turn you into that, whether you want to or not. But I'm also going to say to you that this whole, like the fact that more women are making more money, and I think some of it, the fact that we still expect, I don't expect, like I say to you now, I'm learning that I will never find that man that's like my grandfather because things have changed. And even if I do find that man, it'll probably not work because we now at a stage where I can do 90% of the things. So I now probably don't need a provider, but I need a protector, if that makes any sense. Yeah. So I need someone to look out for me.
Yeah.
So I can provide. I can be there, be the protector, be that man. I saw a clip once where a woman was saying she's married to a bottle of Valium. I don't know if you've heard it.
Okay.
Man is the calmest man on earth. That I can be having a bad day at work. You come, you de-stress, you say everything that's gone wrong. He doesn't say a word. And then when she's done, he's like, are you done? Or do you still need me to listen?
Yeah.
He doesn't say. So do you understand? That is a man that is, I'm not going to say anything. There's nothing I can say that will make you feel better, but I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here if you need me.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
I learned this trick, which I think I used to do, but I think it worked a little bit. I don't know if it worked or not. But I feel like when a woman or your partner like talks to you about whatever issues she's going through, because ideally as a man, you have this instinctual thing to try to solve it.
Yes.
So I always had this thing where I would actually ask, okay, listen, like, do you want me to just listen or do you want me to help you solve your problem?
Yes.
To find out what, like, so then I know, like, the manner of approach on how to actually, because sometimes...
Are we solving or do you just need to vent?
You know, so I find that maybe it's important to also maybe to find out exactly, okay, cool, like, do you want me to just listen or you want me to actually come up with a solution? Because ideally, as men, naturally, we just want to solve it. It's like, okay, well, I'll say this, why don't you do this? Why don't you do this? Then the problem will be solved. And then she'll get upset.
That pisses us off.
Yeah, it's like, but then, no, that's not why I'm telling you this, So, no, but I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, so the roles have changed. So, in as much as it will be hypocritical of us to expect a man to be the provider that in the economic, if I'm going to find a man that doesn't earn as much as I am, but he must also, as a man, find his place in the home. So you can see that, okay, the provider is not needed here, but what can I do as a man that I cannot do it? So be the protector, be the one that says, listen, before we go out, you need to check. I'm useless when it comes to checking water, oil, whatnot. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So it's the small little, again, acts of service, small little things that, look, I might be able to provide for my family, but I would not be able to get from point A to point B without this man making sure that there's petrol in the car, there's this, there's that. You make sure that the things that need to be done are done so that I don't have to do everything. Yeah. I'm not saying now you must be the house husband where you're taking care of children and whatnot, But where you can, do what you can. So and as much as we now fought for this, that we need to be equal and whatever. So we rising into our roles because it's what we've wanted.
Yeah, you guys fought for it.
But you guys are now being put in a role that you never asked for.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, if you get put into a situation you didn't want, you must find something that's going to work for you in that situation and use it. It's like COVID, essentially. We were all locked up.
Yeah.
I call it locked up because it's not even locked down. You felt like you were in jail.
You're locked up, right?
Yeah, you were locked up.
But Natama, do you think that social media played a huge part in the disconnect between the genders as well? Because I say this in terms of, I mean, like nowadays, I think like like they don't, like, quite frankly, like they don't make women like you anymore.
Like
I guess
they used
because
to,
maybe
yes.
because you still carry the traditional values of just how relationships were, and maybe it's because obviously like you're much older than a lot of like women, so you're able to kind of like carry that from what you observe like from your grandparents, but then now adapting it to today's time where a lot of females, they get influenced easily. I mean, if you look at like advertisers, like they target women because like they're easily influenced, you know. And I think technology has come to a space where like literally you can have a boyfriend or somebody who you're talking to, who maybe you're getting serious with now, and you can literally, I was saying this with the guys all the time, you can literally say good night at my 9. And before midnight, she can literally speak to 5 other guys because of technology, right?
Yes.
So now, and the thing is that she's able to do that because in her head, you know, there's this thing of us, we always think that women always feel like there's a better deal out there, or the grass is always green on the other side because of just how much offers they're getting the whole time.
Yeah.
So there's a guy who's offering like, yo, listen, let me fly you out, let's go, let's do lunch, let's do dinner, let's do 1, 2, 3, and you think to yourself like, my man doesn't even
now you
offer
stuck
me
with
that.
this one that doesn't even do that.
It doesn't even do that, and maybe that's where now it starts becoming a thing where like now they start comparing, and then they get influenced to say, okay, maybe let me try this, let me try that, and then because of social media, or maybe even comparing themselves to the next girl who's probably bragging about, hey, my husband took us to this vacation or whatever, and then they start comparing with their own kind of situation where it's not the same, but because everybody's competing, you know, then it's difficult.
It's true, hey, it's very true, because it's not just social media. I mean, we grew up. I was one of the first to go to your traditional multiracial school. Okay. I remember when I started in a traditional the first year we were there, me and my brother, Tabiso, were the only 2 black children in this.
Okay.
So we were like the first, the first intake.
Okay.
So now our children are used to that. So now they've got private schools and whatever.
Yeah.
But now you must remember our, how do you call it? Level in life is not the same. I might be able to afford to take my child to private school, but I don't have the money to have the expensive life that other parents whose children are in that same school. So then children at that stage, yes, I'm in a private school, but I don't have all the brand names. I don't have. Then they start comparing themselves. That's where it essentially, before it gets to social media, it starts there. Because now, yes, I'm going to a good school. So high qualificationing, they see themselves as better than the qualificationing. But when she gets to school, she's now inferior. So our children are living in limbo.
Yeah.
So in one half of the spectrum, I'm the best, I'm the bee's knees. In another half, I'm literally nothing. So they're also now in a stage where they're trying to find where they fit in, or they're trying to see where opportunities are.
Yeah.
Hence, we are the generation Begezela. We grew up where I think they call us the X generation. Gen X, if I'm not mistaken.
Is it Gen X?
Yeah.
And then millennials. When it's from when? I
don't know, but I remember somewhere in between the 80s there is the Gen X.
Yeah.
Because we are now the generation where we still have the values of the older generation, but we got the exposure, right from the beginning, like where social media started, Mix It and all that.
Mix It. Oh, wow. Damn it. Yeah, Mix It. And then Facebook was the one that actually changed the game a bit.
So we are in between where the generation before us was completely devoid of technology, if I can put it that way.
I wouldn't even have cell phone.
Yes, do you understand? And then we were the first to have attachment to the old and to the new.
Yeah.
So it became easy for us to sort of adapt because now you balancing both. Now our children don't have that.
They don't.
There was no technology.
Yeah.
You needed to go outside if you were bored. Now you know my son is always on PlayStation. Wants to know nothing about going to play in the sun because the sun is too hot.
Yeah.
So it's also our fault because then we need to encourage our children to play sports because that's literally the only time they have to be outside. Otherwise, then they only get used to. Now that he's in gaming rooms, you don't know the people that he's gaming with.
Yeah.
You don't know if that's a 50-year-old man or a 10-year-old boy. So then these people are also having conversations. And that's where children are molded by things like that. Girls go into chat rooms and whatnot. And because everything is anonymous, you don't know the type of people that are on there. So then they get ideas into your head. That's why I always believe, I want to be first a mother to my children, but also a friend.
Okay.
So that if they have a question about something, if they have something that's bothering them, I need to be the first person that they're comfortable enough to come and talk. Because information that they may get from outside might not work for them.
No, that's true. No, man. Wow. Covered a mouthful. So no, I think look, like, makes sense. And like I said, like with the whole technology thing happening, and when it comes to relationships, it's very difficult, especially with people like us who we still carry those traditional rules. But now the game is not the same as it was before. So now we're trying to operate in this new world that we live in. Because by the way, have you ever dated younger?
No.
She's always been.
It's always been older.
Older. Would you ever date
not
younger?
a lot older, but older.
Would you ever date younger though?
I don't know. I probably would. It all depends.
Yeah.
And for me, it's not so much about the age. Look, it also can't be someone young that you can see.
Yeah.
When I walk in with this dudura, mara moking one.
Yeah, you're like a cougar now.
You understand? But there's young people that are very mature for their age.
Yeah.
But also, I wanted to add to what you were saying when you say, Hore, that role is no longer there in chivalry. But now you must know, Hore, traditionally, we always had mother and father in the
in the households. Yes.
in the households. Now, a lot of them are
single mothers,
single mother or single father.
Yeah.
So one part of the equation is missing. So you would have probably learned how to be a gentleman and all of that from your father. But if there's no father in the house, where do you learn that? That's why we have these where people are saying chivalry is dead. There's no real men anymore.
Yes.
But we can't blame the men because there was no one there to teach them.
No, that is true. Yeah, it was like, it's rough, man.
It's rough.
It's rough, man.
That's why I'm scared.
No. And I think with now, like I said, because now it's almost, I was saying the other time in a conversation that obviously because of, again, it's like the women who have evolved because they've all under this whole illusion, as long as the guy can show signs of being a provider, then it's like, it's good enough. But now you find a situation where, like, now those guys who maybe like they're well off, they're doing well for themselves, they seem more appealing to the market.
Yes.
And that's why now you find that now that 10% of guys, or maybe let me go high and say 5%, they're the ones who are not able to get this 95% of women, but yet they forget that guy, everybody else wants them.
But also they treat them like crap.
Right? No, that's what I'm saying. Because like the ego plays a role to a point where, like, listen, all these girls that want me because I'm able to portray this lifestyle that I'm living, or I'm able to do 1, 2, 3, and whatever the case may be. But now they're able to exercise more options because of that as well. And
sometimes it's not even the ego. Sometimes it's just it's like entitlement. I buy everything for you. You literally live and breathe me.
Yeah.
So you will do what I want you to do.
Yeah.
So you end up, I always used to say, I never want to be with a man that's rich, because
Okay.
I always feel like they feel like they bought you. They rich. I get it. They do
Yeah,
everything for you.
Yeah.
So now I can't even ask you, why are you late?
Yeah, you can't.
Do you understand? And I'm the type of person that will ask
Yeah,
you,
why?
why?
Yes,
You understand?
Yeah.
So now you don't have a say in that relationship. You must literally do what he says you must do at any given time.
Do you think like the same description you just gave for a guy who's rich, how they act? Do you think it's also the kind of entitlement that women, or let me say, especially attractive women or girls who think highly of themselves, is that also how they also
It is
act as well?
the same entitlement where
Yes.
I'm it's like the bully. It's like your typical bully in
Yeah.
school. And I'm hotter than most girls, so I'm
Yeah.
gonna treat everyone else like trash because I'm it. And that bully goes up to be a woman who thinks, I don't need a man in my life. You find a lot of women that are financially free. They can do whatever they want for themselves.
Yeah.
But they are still submissive wives.
Yes.
Remember, submissive doesn't mean I don't have a say. It just means
Or repeat again. So you say you find that are very well off,
yes,
and yet they're very submissive.
they are still They know and still respect their husband.
That's a minority, right?
It is a minority, but they are still there.
Definitely.
That shows you that it's not the money that goes to a person's head. It means that person is intrinsically like that. So the money doesn't turn you into a monster. The money just brings out the monster that was there.
So it makes you more of who you are, basically. Okay.
So if you're an ass, you're going to be an even bigger ass.
Yeah, with money. No, definitely. No, but that's what I'm saying, because obviously, like, now we're talking about that whole, because I'm thinking that most of the time, like, the reason why I said minority, because usually those women who are very successful and they're able to play the feminine role and be submissive, usually the guy is actually very masculine as well. Because what I tend to find, which obviously I've also experienced, because I've dated independent, well-off women as well. But what I realize is that those women as well, they become very, what can I say? It's like they become irritable when you're not able to kind of live up to what they expect. Like I said, which is why I was always saying, when a woman is successful, it's either they want to date somebody who can either match them or be above.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
True.
And as soon as they feel like they're doing most of the work, if they become very irritable, it's
but
like
that's what I said to you earlier on. It doesn't necessarily have to be financial.
Yeah.
So you're right when you say most of the women that are well off and have very strong men.
Yeah.
Because you need to have a strong personality to handle a strong woman. The problem is we strong women scare off men.
True.
So the men that are coming to you are like, I cannot exercise my strength because now you're going to feel inferior. Do you understand? So we end up watering down our strengths to accommodate a man. Because I get
Yeah.
So now, but that you also cannot sustain. So at some point in the relationship, you're going to get irritated. No, man. Wake up. Because it's like I said, you check out of a relationship years before you leave, but you sit there with the hope that this person will wake up and come into his own. But you also in a relationship, you're like, man, I don't need the finances. I've got the money. I've got this. What do you bring to the table? That strength, that strong character. Bona, you might have the money or whatever, but I'm still the man of the house. That's what we want. A strong man that is like, I'm going to take the lead. Whether I have money or not, I'm going to take. Nobody wants a walkover, man. You don't want to be dating. I'm going out. Okay. I'm going to come back tomorrow. Okay, sweetie. Some challenge me, Hanya. Tomorrow, what do you mean tomorrow?
But that's funny though, because I think sometimes, which is why I feel like usually they say that women give each other bad advice, apparently. This is what they say, right? But because usually I think it's like women always look at things within the female lens and want it to apply to a man.
Yes.
And I feel like that's where the disconnect gets as well. Because let's talk about, like, to give an example, the idea of cheating. let me maybe ask you, maybe just to kind of break it. Like for you, what would you consider cheating from a man?
If you talking to someone or things like that, for me, that's not cheating.
Okay.
What is cheating for me is if you talking to them, yes, you're not seeing them behind my back, but the intention is there. You can tell when then that's cheating.
Okay.
Because I feel like so many times we've had to shy away from people we've grown up with and our friends. I was in that situation at some point because, like I said, I grew up around brothers. My brothers' friends became my friends and that kind of circle. Now you meet a man who is now threatened by the number of male friends that you have, and they are just friends. And now you have to start cutting down your circle to accommodate someone. That's why I can sit here and say, sitting with someone and chatting with them and just having an open conversation, that's not cheating.
Yeah.
We can talk about relationships and whatever, that's not cheating.
Yeah.
But the minute there's intent, you can see, man, there's a different shift in conversation when you're just having a conversation with someone or when you're interested in someone.
Also for you, it's more about the intent, so not the actual act. So let me say, so for you, but like, how do you pick up intent though? Just from conversation?
You can. Look, maybe it's because of experience.
Yeah.
So it's not even from conversation. It's from, you pick it up from the guy. So if I'm with you and there's certain things that you do that you won't realize that you're doing, but you do them.
Yeah.
But the minute there's a third party, not just a friend that you're chatting with, but someone that you're interested, some of those things change.
Okay.
For example, you come home, you hungry, you want to eat, you want to shower, you want to sleep. Next best thing, you come home, oh, don't worry, I'm not hungry today.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
And you guys don't even pick up on the fact that you do this.
Yeah, okay.
Because now you went past whoever, they dished up for you and you've eaten. So it starts off like that.
Okay.
And then the next time, I know, I'm so tired, I'm not even going to shower. I'm like, this is not the... no. Showered somewhere else.
So it's the change of behavior.
So basically. It's the change of behavior and the little things that you used to do that you no longer do.
Yeah.
And then when things go sour that side, all of a sudden you're hungry again. Then you realize, no matter. As a woman, they say, hindsight, you have 20/20 vision. Okay. You know, when you look back, you knew those were the signs. You can see them. We choose to ignore them. Yeah. So that's why I say.
No, you guys are very your intuition is very high in that regard.
You see it. You can see this thing is not happening, but we choose, because we are now in love and all that, we choose to ignore it. But in hindsight, ask me and I'll tell you, no, I saw the signs were there.
Oh, okay.
All the signs were there.
Yeah. Okay. So now going back to the conversation. So now you see, like, that's from your perspective. For a man, cheating is different. Like for you posting very provocative pictures on social media, that's considered as cheating for a man.
Yeah.
Because we know that your currency is beauty and acceptance and all that stuff. So which is why, for like you just said now, a conversation with another man, you may not see it as a serious thing. For a guy, it may become an issue.
Yes.
Which is why sometimes there's certain guys who have an issue with their women having male friends.
Yes.
And sometimes not even necessarily about you, because I know there's always this thing like, no, he's insecure, he's just a friend. The thing is that that's how you perceive him. And maybe, yes, you may not have any attraction to him. But with him...
He might.
But he might as well. And knowing how guys are, guys can play the long game very, very, very strong. You know what I mean? And sometimes he may play the long game, but you as a partner or whatever, and you know how guys operate, which is why sometimes guys have issues with their partners going out to clubs and parties, because
they know the kind of predators that they've been those predators before.
and they say that sometimes a man is needed to be there to help the woman from herself.
Yes.
Because sometimes, yes, your intent may not be to get on with the other guy, but now when you mix alcohol, the environment, whatever the case may be, things happen.
True.
So obviously, as a man who says, no, I don't like you going there, or I don't like you dressing like this, it may seem, obviously, there's words get thrown on, like he's controlling, he's insecure, but he's trying to protect the relationship because he knows that you may sabotage this thing because of the environment you choose to place yourself in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Unintentionally. So he might have to put barriers around you or maybe obstacles so that we don't destroy this thing that we have because I'm trying to protect you from yourself. You know, especially sometimes when guys, they know you've got a whole friend. You know, they know these single friends of yours, they're gonna come about to show me lebala man, hey, come nati lebala ka pudi out, you know, you know what I mean? So that's why I'm saying, Kore, you see, guys, then they see those smaller things as cheating. And the thing with guys, usually what happens with guys are very covert in terms of how they leave a relationship. Because they say, like, most of the time, guys don't leave relationships. Like, they don't say, I'm out. It's really the woman who divorces, who leaves, or whatever the case may be. But guys sometimes who want to leave, they'll probably stop doing things, or maybe they rather have the girl say that, it's not working out.
Then they disappear.
Oh, disappear. Yeah. You know, they start ghosting you, whatever the case may be. And they'll never tell you why.
And then the funny thing is, after they ghost you, you bump into this person and they act like nothing's wrong.
Yes.
They're like, oh, babe, I haven't am I still babe? Like, for real.
Like, you know, so that's how the guys operate as well. And I feel like it's just, so that's what I'm saying. Sometimes women will look at how they would, like for you, because maybe when you cheat, a lot has to go into it. You need to have feelings for this person. Something. So automatically when a guy also cheats, you're thinking he did the same thing.
Yeah.
Which with him, it was probably like, no, she looked hot, and then I had to release, but then I don't have any attraction. Because
it is. But you see where the problem comes in with us is you might not have caught feelings.
Yeah.
But remember, you cheated with a woman. So that woman has now caught feelings. They might not tell you.
Yeah.
Look, I'm going to be very honest with you. It's very few and far between where you'll find a woman that will sleep with a man that they feel absolutely nothing.
Yeah, no, definitely.
So the fact that you come to me and say, oh, baby, it was a mistake, I feel nothing for her. But now you've introduced this woman who now feels. And women can be vindictive. So now you've created a problem because you feel nothing, she feels, and then she's pissed as well on top of that. So it's like when you were saying that if we go to clubs, you say, no, I don't like. I say, it's fine, I understand. I hear what you're saying. But replace that with something else. What pisses us off and we end up saying you're controlling and whatnot is, now you say I can't go clubbing, but you don't want to go anywhere with me. So replace that you don't want me to do with something else. So, okay, babe, let's go quad biking, whatever. I'm going to be so tired at night, I'm not going to be even thinking about the club. Do you understand? So engage me in activities that will not make me think about that one thing that you said no to. Do you understand? So all you do is you say no, but you don't replace with...
Yeah, no, because
that makes any sense.
I feel like even the going out thing, I think it's even better if you go out with your partner. Actually.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So you don't say, I don't like it when you go to a club. You say, okay, no, I'm going to the club. I'm gonna invite the guys. I get a Nike girls' night. I'm gonna invite my guys, and we'll be chilling there. You'll be chilling. Everybody will still be having fun, but you.
No, but also I'm also talking about like even like within the dating stage as well, because obviously maybe your premise is like relationship, you guys are staying together, whatever.
Yeah.
But sometimes those smaller things are what can turn off a guy who you're still dating, because maybe they see your stories, you've gone out. Yes, you guys don't live together, but because it's almost like this is your lifestyle.
Yeah,
it kind of gives you like red flag thoughts as well. Like
but also like you said, we now different from the younger generation, because me, I'm like, whether we're living together or not, babe, I'm going to a club. Because in my mind, if anything happens to me, somebody needs to know where I was. The kids nowadays don't think like that. In fact, they switch their phones off when you can't get hold of them.
Put you on flight mode.
Do you understand? So for me, it's now also a different story, because whether we live together or not, if I'm going to a club, you're going to know before I go to the club.
Yeah.
Because chances are, oh, shit, wait till this person promised to come and pick us up or take us home. Now this is not happening now. If I call you at 2 o'clock in the morning, can you come and pick me up? At least you knew where I was there. Not, I was sleeping, kids, a good night, and now at 2 o'clock, come and fetch me at the club.
Yeah. No, man, like, you know, there's so much that we can talk about now. But maybe just to wrap it up now, for you, just within your experience, with everything you've been through, how would you kind of be your advice to, let me say, maybe to make it more personal, like, what advice would you give to your younger self with the knowledge and the experience you've been through up until now? Like, if maybe you were to speak to an 18-year-old Mpho or 21-year-old Mpho, what kind of advice would you give her?
I would say live your life first.
Okay.
I would tell my young self to. I feel like I got married very young.
Mm-hmm.
I love and I love. I'm an advocate for love. I've told my family that I'll probably get married 10 times until I find the right one, because I'm a hopeless romantic.
Yeah. Okay.
Because of the relationship that I saw of my grandparents, this is what I still want.
Yeah.
But I would also, live. I should have told it to my younger self, but I tell it to my daughter all the time. Go to varsity, have your experiences, move out, live on your own, go out, travel, live your life, have fun before you decide to commit and settle down.
Okay.
Because in the end, when shit hits the fan, you're like, you feel like you've wasted your life, because I never got a chance to live my life. And after that, I've been living my life for either a husband, and after husband, it was for children. So at no stage in my life can I really say that I lived my life for me.
For you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that it?
That's it.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, no, awesome, guys. Appreciate it. Simple. Wow. We've been, 1 hour, 15 minutes. Oh, man. All right, cool, man. And listen, man, I appreciate you coming through. Yeah, let's do this again sometime.
Oh, no, definitely. You're most welcome. You can see if we carry on, we'd be here for days.
Yeah, no, it's out.
Okay, thank you.
Sharp.